And we're back. Hey, so today's video is about Kundalini and shadow work. But first, I would like for all of us to have a moment of silence and a prayer as we all embark on this next phase in our healing journeys and our self discovery. Asking for our angels and our ancestors and the Most High to come and cover us and protect us and continue to guide us as we proceed and grow and heal. Amen. All right, so today's videos will be about Kundalini and shadow work. What is Kundalini? Somebody asked me what is Kundalini? Kundalini is a spiritual energy or a life force that is coiled at the base of your spine. So think about a coiled snake. When a snake is all wrapped up in its comfy spot, and then when it comes up, it moves up. So it's moving up your spine. And it's starting off at your root chakra, which we will get into further details about that as well. Kundalini awakening actually burns away karma. It forces the person to have to deal with some of the suppressed emotions and memories that we don't want to talk about, that we go to therapy for and talk to a therapist about it instead of putting in the work for itself. That's the reason why Kundalini and shadow work goes hand in hand to me. I'm not, again, you all know, I'm going to say I'm not speaking as this know-it-all expert, but I'm learning and sharing my learnings with everybody as I'm learning. Life events and triggers, I talked about that on the last video, that could possibility make your Kundalini awaken, and you may not even know that this is what's going on, and you're having these thoughts, these dreams, and all these suppressed emotions and memories are coming back. Why? Multiple things that can be the reason why is childbirth. We talked about that yesterday. Menopause. Menopause, ladies, menopause can send you through a Kundalini awakening. Death of a loved one. We talked about that. It's my dad. Trauma. If you grew up in a house full of trauma, it sparked your Kundalini and you just didn't know. A loss, a significant life event of changes can trigger it too. Awakening from a depression, despair, and anxiety. And even a near-death experience. I have been blessed to be around people who have everything, who has multiple things that has triggered their Kundalini, and they did not know. And multiple things on this list has triggered my Kundalini, and I did not know what it was until I knew what it was and started to do more work. So I can only talk about me again, and I'm openly sharing, because that's what Moon is about, to openly share everything. And I'm still waiting on them calls and them texts and stuff, because I'm ready. I had one person talk to me yesterday and it was amazing. So let's talk about mine. So I grew up in a household where I did not know if the next day was going to be the same or if it was going to be from calm to chaos. And that's what I meant by I didn't want my child to endure the things that we had to. I can remember just always being like ready, okay, is this finna go down today? Are we finna have fun today, or are we about to have to, is it finna be chaotic energy today? And it was like that for maybe every other week. and I don't want to over dramatize it and make it seem like it was every day or every other day. It was like every other week. No lie, for a very long time. And when my siblings came into the picture, it got a little bit more frequent. And me being a water baby and everybody else in the household being fire signs, I had to learn how to be the calm in the midst of the storms. So that was trauma. The birthing of my child, again, being told that if he doesn't come out, it's slim chance that he could not make it. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Yeah, he was born 3 pounds, but there was nothing wrong with my babe. He was able to go home after a week, but that activated my Kundalini as well. Then the loss of my father, it activated something totally, all the suppressed emotions, all of the trauma that I did go through with him. A lot of that shit didn't matter no more, because it was like the good memories came back, but I had been living for a long time with all the bad memories in my mind, consistently remembering them, the emotions behind them, and everything. There was one thing that I did not mention as a way to activate it: falling in love. I did not know that. And when you fall in love with a person, all of the other things start to open up. All the suppressed emotions that you may have been baggage, I'll say baggage, all the extra baggage, emotional baggage, will start to fester in your mind and give off triggers. And you're giving off that, you're projecting that energy off into this situation like it was the last situation. I did not know this. Did not know. That just tells me I never was in love until I fell in love. And when I did, now it all makes sense. Crazy. Depression and anxiety. My story, once again, I'm Kundalini activated, full blown activation. I went through a depression really bad, where I was the happiest person in the room, but the saddest person in the room at the same time. Drinking, partying, hanging out, doing shit that I would never really want to do. Like, that wasn't really my mindset. But to numb the shit, ignore it, I was doing it. Anxiety, oh, don't even get me started with anxiety. My anxiety got so high, and I'm like, when the fuck did we, as a people, like, start experiencing all this anxiety? Like, I didn't even know what the fucking anxiety was. I watched Inside Out and I cried. I'm not gonna, transparency, I cried watching Inside Out too. Anxiety hit me hard. Like, this is how I be feeling. I'm always overthinking everything to be negative instead of being optimistic, to look at it in a positive light. That's adding more. It's adding more anxiety to me. It's adding more trauma to myself. It's putting me deeper into a depression. It was doing everything, and I didn't know. Like, you don't know until you know. And when you know, you be like having those epiphanies, aha moments, like, damn, okay. A Kundalini awakening can affect the enhancements of a person's intuition and insight, where you no longer trust your intuition. You no longer trust your insight. Every single one of my moments, I did not trust my intuition. I did not trust my insight. I did not trust what was in front of me to be real. And the anxiety and the back and forth went through my mind, and it festered, and it didn't fester in a good way. It festered in a negative way. And it was uncomfortable and it was painful. And that's even a part of Kundalini. it's uncomfortable, it's painful, it's heating up the body. Like, if you just randomly hot and you like, why the fuck am I running hot? Like, Kundalini. I got shakes, I got body aches, Kundalini. Emotional experiences like anxiety and fear. What? Went through all of that, experienced all of that, and every single trigger that triggered my Kundalini to awaken. Coming with like no apparent reason. You're like, where the fuck did this come from? Where did this happen? Why did this happen? It happens. It happened. It happens to the best of us. It's a blessing. It turns into a blessing once you go through it and you experience it. It turns into a blessing. It heightens your awareness. You'll emotionally heal, and you have a lot of spiritual growth, and it brings you back to that inner being. Like, so the self-discovery of you, it brings you back to your inner knowing. It refixes your intuition. It refixes your insight. It allows you to be more calmer, more in tune with what's going on around you, instead of being invasive and all over the place and just chaotic for no reason. I can share my own story. I was actively meditating. We were actively meditating every day, at least 2-3 times out of the week. Just sit and quiet, meditate, put candles, sit in front of a vision board, meditate. When triggers started happening and the Kundalini awakening started coming back again, to be like, all right, that's when all the uncomfortability and the painful stuff start coming. It's good to go and meditate at least once a week, and sit in with yourself in quiet for once a week, if that's the case. Whatever type of meditation that brings you comfort, because there's different forms of meditation. Not everybody meditates the same. Hell, I meditate by writing and just getting my thoughts out with a little vibe behind me. I meditate washing dishes. You can meditate in so many different ways. So meditate, yoga is really good. Breath work, working on your poses. You all can research that. I can give you a couple that correlates with your Kundalini, so you can activate those chakras, because that's really what you want to do, is you want to activate those chakras, because as the Kundalini is rising up your spine and it's uncoiling and it's going up your spine, you think about it, it's going from your root chakra, which is the first chakra, and it's going all the way up to the last chakra, which is your crown. And in the process of this situation happening, you're activating your third eye. And your third eye is your intuition. Benefits. This is often the beginning of a new journey. Most times, most people don't even know, like, what is the purpose of Kundalini? It's the beginning of a new journey in self-acceptance, self-love, inner knowing, and the awakening is so loud. It's so loud. It shake your freaking world up. It's so loud, but it's that voice to guide you back to alignment. Like, I have had many days and many nights where I have not slept because my inner self is battling, like, no, that's not. No, that ain't. Yes, it is. No, it ain't. Yes, it is. No, it ain't. Yes. Are you kidding me? Like, but it's bringing me back to alignment, so I understand it. That uncomfortability is necessary. So, because that's something that I did manifest to pray for. Like, I want alignment. I want my alignment back. The sadness and the fear, I had to stop feeling sad for myself. I had to stop feeling sad for every situation. Stop digging into every situation. And, like, I'm a work in progress. I still do it sometimes. I can't help it. Like, when your current situation is not the situation that you want, we know miracles come when you surrender. And that's ironic because this week coming up, my horoscope told me that it is time to manifest against the moon, and I need to just surrender. So that means stop trying to be in control of what's happening, surrender, and just sit back and go with the flow. Be the water that I am. And sometimes growing up, I didn't know how. Like, I knew how back then when I was a kid because I had to teach myself how, but not as an adult with so much stuff going on, with different factors and different things and different people. I knew how to flow, but then I stopped learning how to flow. Then I went back to flowing. Then I stopped back flowing. I went to trying to control the situation. I went not to trying to control the situation. And that didn't get me nowhere that I really wanted to be. It made me stagnant. But I experience all of this stuff, and I'm excited because it helps the whole entire journey make it enjoyable. Like, oh, okay, I enjoy this now. Like, I understand this now. So back to the chakras. So it starts off at the base of your chakra and it goes all the way up. Like we said, it starts off at the root, and the root is the base of your spine. It's where you are grounded. So you'll hear people say, oh, go ground. For me to go ground, I need to go now by water. I know all my birth placements, so water and nature actually go hand in hand for me to become more grounded, more in my, like, let me think, let me get clear, helps. We took a trip to the ocean, and I had no fear to walk in there. Can't swim. I know I can get my head under and go a little bit, but I'm getting back up type swim. But the water covered me, and I felt rejuvenated. I felt great, like standing outside, taking my socks off, planting my feet in the grass, just sitting in the grass. Like, I did a lot of that over the summer. It helped a lot. I sat in a lot of water. I spent 9 hours one day just in the water, just outside, feet in the water, just outside. If you look at one of my previous videos, you'll see that day where I went and made an offering. We'll get to one of those days where I'll talk in more detail about that as well. And the root chakra is red. Then we're moving up. Now we're gonna move up. Now, see, so everybody think the first chakra is here. No, it's the base of your spine. Move up to your sacral chakra is where your creativity and your sexual desires come from. Actually, like, big time. If you're not set in your sacral chakra, in your pelvis, you can open it back up. Eat citrus fruit. Not only eat citrus fruit, wear a lot of orange. Meditate off of that Pacific chakra to open it back up. You can overly have that, and you can lowly have it. And if it's low, do things, dance, yoga, rock your pelvis, do a little shake. Then moving up to your solar plex. So if you have stomach issues, gastro issues, all these different types of pains in your stomach consistently, and you just like, damn, my stomach always hurting, that's worry. That's where anxiety really sits. That's where your anxiety sits. Point blank period. That's where your confidence sits. And if you're not feeling that yellow, that's why. It builds confidence. It builds it, and it also has anxiety. So each chakra has a gift and a curse behind it. Moving up to your heart chakra. Most people associate it with green or pink. If you're looking at crystals too, green or pink crystals are more so going towards your heart chakra. That's where you have your passion, compassion, and your drive as a person. So I can tell you I had a passion for food. I didn't even know I had a passion for food. I had worked a job and I was like, oh, okay, I work at a fast food restaurant. And then I got another job and I fell in love with the concept. It gave me a lot of things about myself that I learned. Like, okay, I have a passion for food. want to fill your belly, but I want to make sure you comfortable and make you a fan and not just another person, another customer. People do that all the time. Throat chakra. Sometimes people overuse their throat chakra. And sometimes people underuse their throat chakra. And in my case, I kind of go back and forth. I'm not even going to front. Sometimes I could be a little too throaty, and then I can be not. And that where communication comes in. That's where your feelings, communicating your thoughts, communicating your ideas. It's cool to give your thoughts, but sometimes giving your thoughts to make somebody take it personally, it'll like feel that person will start feeling attacked and victimized. So pick and choose. You don't want to be over throaty, but you don't want to be under. You really want your chakras to be balanced as you are going through this Kundalini. Third eye. And yes, my third eye is open. That's where your intuitive senses come from about your future. So we talked about this yesterday, but I'll bring it up again today. 3 years before I had my son, I had a whole dream about the stuff. I laughed about it. I did not know anything. And I, of course, did not know that that's what was coming. I did not even know what a chakra was at that time to even know and associate what it was. I just knew I had a dream. I had a dream about a situation with my mother 3 times. Same dream, different, same start, different ending. Didn't know until the day it came true. Like, oh. Future. What's coming? It comes from here. And the last one, crown. The head. To be able to see beyond and the past. In reality, it's kind of scary. I had an experience where, I think I talked about it yesterday, I took some mushrooms and I could not wake up the next day. I saw my past, I saw my current, and I saw my future. That was not my first experience of that. That one was more in depth, but the very first one, I had saw what was coming to my future as far as the losses that were coming. And when I saw them coming, it activated my Kundalini in a way where the sadness and the fear kicked in and everything became uncomfortable. Everything became painful. I questioned everything. I started to lose my entire mind. Anxiety was high. Fuck the spiritual shit. That's how my energy started being like, I don't know what the fuck is going on. What did I do? What did I activate? But all of it threw it back to me really getting to know myself. Being able to sit with myself to say, yeah, you did that. You did. Take accountability. Take responsibility. Sometimes you're the fucking problem too. Where you think that everybody else is the problem, but you're the fucking problem. Heal. Basically, my stuff told me it was time to heal. The healing benefits behind Kundalini is it is stress reliever. It is you get self-improvement in a different way, and you get understanding, you get self-understanding, and you get spiritual enlightenment. And since I've been on this Kundalini journey, and now that I'm really sitting with it and understanding it, I see, like, okay, the importance of it. It is giving me spiritual enlightenment. Like, I have more control over my reactions now. I didn't for a while. Like, shit started triggering me like crazy. All these uneventful things that was happening. Like, fears was kicking in. Sadness was kicking in. And it gave me a fucking turmoil that just sent my whole world upside down. But it was necessary because the healing that came that the healing, I can't say the healing that came, the healing that has been coming since then, of me seeing these things and going through these experiences and having these things, I've been feeling so much better. Slowly but surely. One day at a time. Work in progress. Me. So this was the book that I was talking about yesterday, the Kundalini Awakening and Empath and Psychic Abilities. This book is an eye-opener. You can get it on Amazon. It does teach you how to clearing and the awakening. It teaches you the effects of the Kundalini. It also tells you more in depth about your chakras, what they each do, your aura. It gives you more depth about yoga. It gives you more in depth about how your Kundalini and your chakras really need to align to be happy and healthy, to start creating your heaven on earth. Of course, it gives you the psychic protection. It gives you that information as well. And that's important because some people might find out they have psychic abilities that they didn't know they had. And yeah, that's part of Kundalini. Being clairvoyant, being able to hear things, being able to see things, being able to feel things, being a medium. I know a person who is a medium that has dreams about dead people and know who finna die next from their dream. Mind blowing. Spirits talk to them, be around them, and they be comfortable with it. It reminds me of that movie Ghost. That's what it reminds you of, like being in a medium. Like she was a medium where she saw the dead and could talk to the dead, and she made her money off of that. That is definitely a part of it. Being telepathic and meditations. It has a lot. It really is. It also has in here, what is your third eye in more depth, and what do you do when you open it? That's important to know. Like, having your third eye open can be a blessing for you, but it also can be a hindrance for you, because then you out here driving yourself crazy. It also has synchronicity of numbers. So if you've been seeing 444s, you've been seeing 111, 222, 333, it gives you more in-depth information about that. It also talks about astral projecting. Now, total off subject, back on subject, because it's all part of Kundalini. I legitimately know that I astral project before, and it scared the flip out of me. Like, when I say it scared me so bad, because I was just sitting on the couch, listening to a little tone, comfortable, and then all of a sudden, I was in like 6 different places at the same time. Soon as the tone went off, body, like, you could feel your spirit go back into your body. You like, that's important too. I'll cover that eventually on one of these videos, more in depth about that. It also has in here what your dreams are telling you, and it's a really good read. It's a really good book. It's a really good thing to have for your spiritual journey and understanding yourself. I do not have the other book. I wish I did have the other book, but I will find out that author that I said about Kundalini and getting to know yourself the melanated way, because it gives more in depth about melanated people. Then that one gives an overall. This one gives a more in depth. I have my wand with all of my chakra colors in it. It's my manifesting wand. And to receive, you right hand, left hand push away. We'll get to all of that, and I'll do a video about crystals and stuff like that. So now we're going to move on to the wonderful shadow work. Shadow work and Kundalini actually go hand in hand to me. Again, I am not the expert at this. I'm just sharing with you all my experience, my story, my journey. The shadow work to me is very important because how do you expect to be able to live in your truth if you don't sit with your demons and your shadows? And during my experiences of going through these spiritual awakenings, I had to see some shit that I forgot about, that I suppressed, that I didn't want to think about no more. And I had to put it in the back of my mind. Well, welcome back is how I felt. Welcome back. You thought you forgot about me, huh, bitch? Unless you learn how to face your own shadows, you will continue to see them in others. Because the outside world of you is only a reflection of the world that's inside of you. I can honestly say that is a true statement. That is a true paragraph, whatever you want to call it. It is very true because of the sole purpose that I was just basically reflecting and mirroring a lot of energy for a very, very long time. It was showing up in my everyday. It was showing up at work. It was showing up at home. It was showing up in my relationships. It was showing up in my parenting. It was showing up in so many different things. And because I hadn't hit those shadows, I hadn't sat with those shadows perfectly and perfect. Nakia didn't sit with her shadows. Now me and my shadows, we sit neck and neck like, hey, what's up? Yeah, we did that. We can hold that. We can hold responsible for that. It helps you also see yourself and the people. It helps you, the people that you're around, it helps you see yourself. Like, I have a narcissistic trait. Got it from parents. I have a narcissistic trait. I have a problem sometimes being gaslighter. I have a problem with all of the things that it bothers me about everybody else. And then I have to say to myself, how dare you be able to get mad at this person for doing the same shit you do? Sometimes you the fucking problem. We go back to that. Shadow work is about revealing the unknown. The shadow is about an unconscious aspect for your personality that the ego does not identify with. I'm not gonna lie, my ego dead. It been dying. I'm not always saying the right stuff. I'm not always doing the right stuff. I'm not always being in the right energy that I'm supposed to be in. Again, we're humans. We make mistakes. We do it. It's sitting with your dark side. Can you really sit with your dark side? This journal helps you find your whole self and be with your whole self and be able to be with yourself. My favorite is that if you are having a trigger moment, right? So say for instance, you're with somebody, you're having a day and you're highly effectively triggered. You're like, why the fuck am I being triggered so much? Like, why is this affecting me? It has information where you go to that page and you write those triggers down to get to the root cause of the shadow. So like, what's triggering this shadow right now? What thoughts am I having? Oh, I'm having, I beat your ass thoughts. What emotions are you experiencing? Then it tells you to close your eyes and listen to your inner voice and write down the 3 words that come to your mind. And it refocus you back to that inner child, like that little person that's still inside, that's screaming for you to just be the evolved, healthy, happy person that they dreamed about being when you were little. Like, so it does that as well. It gives you inner child affirmations, and those help. So for one, it says, I'm protected. I've learned that if you have certain affirmations and you touch your chakras. It helps to waken them up. I am loved. Hit your heart. I am loved. I am loved. I am loved. I am loved. I am safe. You're grounding. I stomp my feet. I'm grounded. I'm safe. I'm safe. I'm safe. I'm safe. I love myself. I love myself. Those inner child affirmations really help. I deserve happiness. I can protect myself. I show myself compassion. I honor the child that's within me. Helpful. Super helpful. Super duper 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 helpful. It helps you understand. Doing the shadow work, it helps you also learn what emotional triggers are for real and where they come from and what they can be showing. I have this app where I learned that I have a generational curse of shame, and that's an emotional trigger. Being shameful. It says shame is an intensity emotion that arises when you believe that there is something fundamentally wrong with who you are. I'm gonna let that sink in. Fundamentally wrong with what you are. I felt so much shame behind, like, there's something wrong with me. There's something wrong with me. How could I do this? How could I make these mistakes and keep making these same mistakes? And like, what am I not doing? Am I not learning the lesson? Like, that shame, that inner shame, that emotional trigger just kept triggering. And it wasn't allowing me to have compassion for myself or accept myself. But it's inherited from, my worthiness was inherited from other human beings. It made me do that. Guilt, emotional trigger. Anger, emotional trigger. Sadness, emotional trigger. Embarrassment, big emotional trigger. This emotion stems from the feeling of self-consciousness and awkwardness and humiliation in social settings. Definitely. I've been embarrassed, and that emotional trigger is one of them ones that be like, shit. Jealousy, emotional trigger. Regret, of course, we know. Fear. It says the journey of self-discovery requires willingness to explore the depths of our shadows and heightens our potential. I can talk about it. I thrive to be the best version of me. For me. Before anybody else. Because if I can't be the best version of me for me, then I'm looking for validation from everybody else. I can sit here and say I fall victim of that. I've looked for validation in others about who I am, about me as a person. Overly pursuing, trying to pursue to be understood. That comes from your inner child, being understood, consistently being misunderstood, not really feeling whole, not really feeling validated. That happens. That's a part of it. That's why I say Kundalini and shadow work really go hand in hand. If you dig deep in it, it really works. It really helps. It's been helping me on this journey. I fell short for a little while. I did. I had to get myself back into it because after a while you be like, man, I don't do this shit. It ain't working. It happens. I did it too. Like, I had the thoughts in my mind, all kind of shit. Crystals, bought crystals, didn't use them bitches no more. Bought all kind of stuff, didn't use it no more. There's this quote that is, a couple of quotes that I want to end with. It hit hard in a different way when I read it originally, but it says, every child is born as karma to parents, but also every child is born as karma to him or herself. There is a double action, and people mostly forget this. One is karma to parents, and the other is karma to self. And in between, a person has to develop and grow and become free. That's what this self-discovery journey is all about. You don't want to be a part of karma anymore. You want the good karma. You want to be able to be free and have the good karma, not be attached to your parents' karma, not your grandparents' karma, not your own fucking karma. Because I can be honest, I relived some of my own karma of the choices that I made. Like, oh, okay, I did that shit. Now I got to sit through it. Damn, this is their karma, but I got to fight through it. But now it became my karma, so I gotta fight through it. It definitely did. Your mind will always tell you not to obey because it starts obeying something else. You cannot obey your mind. That's another heavy quote. Like, what? Goes back to that Voice of Knowledge book we were talking about. And this is the last one. Love is a process in which ego is lost and infinity is experienced. I like that. I liked that quote. Because I want to experience infinity. Like, love in infinity. The feeling of love all around, all the time. Like, I see my dog and I be like, he's just nothing but love. And see your kid, it's just nothing but love. You think about all of the things and how you can unconditionally love certain things, but how come you can't unconditionally love yourself? How come you can't unconditionally love somebody else that is mirroring you and only a reflection of you? Unconditional love is all that God has for us too. So why can't we do it? So thank y'all for listening to my story and sharing with me again today. I am looking forward to some feedback so I can know what's next to cover. I'm thinking maybe crystals, maybe more in depth with crystals. I'm not ready for tarot still yet. It's not. I might go into part 2 of Kundalini a little bit more in depth into the psychic part, more in depth about shadow work and do that. But I'll wait and I'll see what we say. And then it'll be some more videos coming for sure. I thank y'all again. I appreciate the views. I appreciate the feedback. I appreciate the commentary. This is really was frightening for me to do this because I was like, everybody don't need to know my life, but fuck it. Why not? You're gonna learn it anyway, or people make assumptions about it anyway. Why not be honest with and tell my own story? Be transparent about my doings and what happened to me. Inspire somebody else to open up. And I'm not finna pay nobody no damn $200 to lay on no couch to tell me some things that I already know. That part. See y'all.